I thought the tricks were over, but they weren't. Of course the player should have assumed that if they just tried to walk off that ledge that looked like every other ledge in the entire game, then of course a text box would show up and spell out the word trip at a second per letter and then have the hero trip. Of course that is a reasonable thing to expect to happen. I mean, it really goes without saying that was a state of affairs that could have been expected to transpire. Ah well, we got the heart, so we can't complain too much, although our actual life is looking pretty bad. But we don't have to worry about that so much as this teleporter section here. Oh hi, we're going through a teleport maze, my paisanos. A maze where you got to stand on the left hand side of these green things specifically for some reason. But I'm sure this is going to go quite nicely. A nice easy maze of well, the top one didn't work, so the middle one is worth a try. That's harder to get to than the bottom one, right? I'm sure this is all going to go very nicely indeed. And it did. Yeah, I bet you were expecting that maze to be a nightmare, weren't you, viewers? Apparently, although this game has a very high difficulty level, that difficulty was not in that maze. The difficulty seems to be relegated to the jump controls and the hits you're taking left, right and centre in this game. The little maze there was actually very simply designed. Teletubbies! That's the time. Some of them watch in the morning before you go into school. But, yeah. So, Dipsy's face got browner, and the stock footage that's played in the introduction and the ending before they went to watch their Teletubby television screens, Dipsy's face was his original colour. I mean, I suppose it was slightly more dark toned than the rest of the cast, but like it was really noticeable that they deliberately started making it darker later on. The point is, they messed up because they didn't update the stock footage where it's the original colour, so I don't know what to make of that. Captain Yellow Lightning Man, you have no power against someone ducking in front of you and firing constantly. Teletubbies! I love the posh English accent guy that said the name in the title screen. Teletubbies! 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 Seriously, have I used that strategy for every single boss? Strategy, indeed. Oh well. Never mind that. There's only one bad guy left now, out of the 9 levels. Yeah, the 9 standard levels in this game. Which is that's a change from that other game like this. Anyway, we're taking on Captain Sword this time. It's just a generic looking man with a sword, basically. Ah! Dear me. Have you noticed something about the music in this game, by the way, viewers? You possibly have. Again, it's taken from the thing that this game is suspiciously similar to, so at least the creator's being honest about that. Not that there's anything wrong with copying an excellent game. Might as well copy from the masters. And look at this jump. I just glitched over the jump anyway. And we got to do it again. Ah, dear. Unfortunately, because of the nature of these... messed it up. The programmer knew, didn't they? They put these little gun things down in these pits because they know you're going to fall in there 1,000 times. Man. Maybe the creator knew that the jump controls were so bad. They just decided to exploit that. In fact, maybe that's the whole point of this game. Maybe the bad jumping is an intentional feature of Guardians of Earth Collection, and the whole game is set up to exploit that. I mean, the Fire Guardian in the introduction did say the point isn't to not get you hit, it's to... Oh, man! Guardians of Earth Collection copied the one thing from its inspiration that I think everybody was hoping it wouldn't. Yes, it's the disappearing, reappearing blocks. And if those things are obnoxious in not Guardian's Fair Collection, take a wild guess, viewers, how much worse they are here. In a game that you literally can't control your own jumps. We're gonna make it! Oh man, that was actually went a lot better than I thought it would. We almost had it. So, making our way back here, I got trapped in the bat. Trapped in the bat, yeah. Trapped in the bat, Jesse. Just how we roll. The trapped in the bat, I say the trapped in the bat. The trapped, and the trapped in the bat. Okay, now we're on back to this platforming section again. Whoa, what the? Wish you could do that in the Mega, not Jesse. And I wish that didn't happen in Mega Man, but it actually does. The one square of not ground. Perfectly placed to hit me into that. Oh dear. Come on, Bat. Come on, Bat. Get in line of my fire, bug! That's better. Man. I might have guessed. Yep. In theory, I'm being a tad harsh on the game's jumping controls because it technically is predictable, if nothing else. If you if you hold up and hold right, he will jump the same number of squares every time, I believe. And if you supposedly if you press up and then right just very briefly, he'll jump 2 squares along. But sometimes he seems to do 1 square or 2 squares, so that does seem a bit random, I think. Either way, it's not intuitive at all. Although that instruction manual did address the different types of jump in the game, but it's still just really painful to deal with. Anyway. We beat that boss. We beat the sword man, who didn't seem to... Well, no, he did use a sword, didn't he? It's just it didn't really make a difference. But with that, ladies, we've defeated the 9 main levels. And just like you might have expected, we've got a final onslaught of levels to deal with, the question mark levels. Oh, a cutscene! Awesome! Yeah, that's right, Fire Guardian, we almost made it. And excellent! A power charge from the Guardian! Excellent work, Guardian. Thanks for not giving us that before. And look at all of those fantastic weapons that we've gotten. Every weapon in the game. But we're missing one of those hearts. Well, it must be hidden in one of these levels. There's our supercharge. Takes takes a couple more seconds to charge up to max than the old one did. And as you just saw, it doesn't do any more damage, so it's just as useless as it always was. So, thanks for nothing, Fire Guardian. Between this power charge and that armour that the Fire Guardian said he designed to get us hit more, I'm starting to wonder whose side that Guardian's on. Well, I know whose side that bat's on. Yeah, I'm trapped in the bat again. Nothing to do but wait for cold, raining death. Dying in the rain on a rocky cliff. Could it be more dramatic, viewers? Aye. Right, let's take that again. Even the music here comes from comes from the first final level of one of the Mega Man games. Well, not the original Mega Man, I should say, because of course that came from the point when Mega Man started splitting himself into different series. Aye, it was no longer just good old blue Mega Man anymore. It was instead Mega Man with a letter at the end of his name. And he did the same stuff that the original Mega Man did, except that he was weaker than him and had to collect stuff to make himself more powerful. Aye. Which is the philosophy that this game has followed. Although the reward doesn't quite pay off as much, considering that you've got so much health to start, considering you get 1 single point of health from each heart, and every enemy hits you for exactly 1 point of health anyway, and you've got 20 points of health or something like that to start with. but it's something. Oh man. Just go for it, Jesse. Run! What? 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 No! No! Nothing hit me! Nothing hit me! Nothing hit me! Nothing hit me! That is not true! That was not the truth. So, let's die again, viewers, and let's try again. I die again and try again. That is a motto that should be famous. That should be getting printed on posters. And the ageing pop stars should be going to schools to give speeches about it. I mean, seriously, David Snedden, just use a bin already. Luckily, Jesse discovers how to walk on air to deal with those enemies. I find time to do that, Jesse. Well, he did it already in that vanishing block puzzle. Just reviving his old skills there. Too bad he couldn't do that at certain other times it would have been useful to have done so. But you cannot have everything. Just like you can't have a reasonable jump to make! Oh, okay. I mean, seriously, one block wide jumps is just not reasonable in Guardians of the Earth collection. Man, we're on a roll here, making these impossible jumps. When's my luck going to run out? Yeah, you didn't expect that, did you, viewers? I will chime. Fireman Sam is there on time. Putting on his coat and hat in less than 7 seconds flat. He's always on the scene. Fireman Sam and his engine's bright and clean. Fireman Sam you cannot ignore. Sam is the hero next door. Driving down the busy streets, greeting people that he meets. Should be who he meets, not that he meets. Someone might be in a jam. So hurry, hurry, Fireman Sam. He's always on the scene. Fireman Sam and his What can I do for you? What can I do for you, my little sugar lumps? Norman Price! What's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool doing in your ears? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got some cotton wool in my ears. I said, what's that cotton wool? Elliot Hobbles! I like how the American version has George Stobart from Broken Sword Games being the narrator. If that's not him, then seriously, it sounds exactly like him. Tinky Winky was looking for Poe. Where Poe? Where Poe? Yeah, I bet you're creeped out at how good that voice on the Teletubbies. Oh, Teletubbies, Teletubbies, Teletubbies! Captain Green, you got nothing. Now it's time for a well-known, not Guardians of the Earth collection staple. We're going to fight all of the bosses we've already fought. Well, actually that's not technically true. What we're going to do is fight a series of bosses in quick succession that are inspired by the original game bosses. Because that green man there is not the sprite of any of those abominations we faced earlier, even though he's using the same attacks as one of them. I'd tell you which one, viewers, but A, they didn't have names, and B, do you seriously think I remember? Seriously, you're not even going to bother yourself to go back through the videos and check, are you? No, of course you're not. You never are. So we might as well just leave this open end unclosed. Just keep it open forever. Just keep that end open. And it's nice that we get a health pickup. Nice to see those things showing up for the first time in the whole game. Well, even though they only give us a quarter of our health. Or something along those lines. Okay, I guess I might as well show off some of our special attacks. This is the water man after all, so you'd think he'd be weak to electricity, because electricity is conducted well in water, which would naturally hurt the water itself, right? That makes sense. So, well, I guess it maybe killed him faster than I would have done with bullets, but not enough to really, like, not really worth it, is it, viewers? Especially considering that, I mean, take this enemy for example. What on earth even is he? What's his element? What am I supposed to use against him? He's yellow, okay. He fires rockets. That's it. It's not a lot to go on, guys. Then again, I'm one of those people that, for all that I liked to play RPGs, I never did fully really grasp the whole elemental weakness thing. I mean, I always knew that obviously water would be weak against fire. Yeah, obviously water would be strong on fire, and actually I think that's pretty much the only one I ever memorised. It's just a complete guessing game from there. Every time I play an RPG, is Earth powerful against fire? Is air good against earth, or is it good against water? Or I genuinely never know. I'm pretty sure that different games treat this stuff differently as well. I mean, I guess fire would scorch the earth, but then you got games where earth is good against air, or air is good, or like wind is good against flying things. I guess that would make sense. It would flap, that would like toss them all over the place. But then at the same time, sometimes the flying stuff doesn't take much damage from wind attacks. I guess the reason in there is that they're living in the blooming sky. They'd be able to deal with a bit of wind. So you just can't win. Water being good on fire is pretty much the only thing I seem to feel I can trust in RPGs. But I'm not trusting it on this one for 1 second. If anything looks like it's got the slightest chance of messing with your jumps, kill it. There's a life philosophy for you, viewers. Don't take it seriously. Team Sponkel can't be doing with getting sued. I know this might stun you, viewers, but Team Sponkel's boss doesn't exactly pay us very well. Our pay is pretty rubbish. In fact, our pay is so bad, to be honest, that it's actually... In fact, man, I mean, seriously, the wages we get for this stuff is atrocious. In fact, it's so bad that we actually got paid -£5 last week. In fact, it's so bad that last month we actually got -£5,000. He wrote us a negative cheque. Can you believe that? The nerve of the man. I mean, just because we did nothing for 7 years, it's no excuse to decrease our salary. Oh, God, dear me. You got any complaints about Team Sponkel's this and that? Complain to the boss, will you? There's Dipsy. And Tinky Winky, yeah, he had a purse. There was some strange paranoid weirdness people had with him for some reason. I don't quite know like why. I mean, first of all, like the kids would know anyway. Tell it, Thomas!
Uh-oh, Dinky Winky. Oh, Lala. Oh, Paul. Oh, Dinky Winky. Uh-oh. Dipsy hat. Dipsy hat.
Yeah, all the characters had their own special item. Poe had a scooter.
Paddy, Paddy. Paddy, Paddy.
Lala had a ball, a big orange bouncy ball. Tinky Winky had his purse, we've established that. Dipsy had a big cow cow-coloured hat, big white and black blotches. Don't know where they got these things. Then again, I don't know where the Teletubbies came from in the first place.
Teletubbies!
They lived in a big scientific super place, which according to Wikipedia is called the Tubbytronic Superdome. And it was always called this, even though they never said its name ever in the series. And Wikipedia says that they never said its name. I mean, you can't trust Wikipedia, I suppose, but yeah, at least they went to the trouble of naming the thing. They all had beds there, they all slept together. They had machines that made their food, Tubby Custard and Tubby Toast. Tubby Toast! Tubby Toast! They're making a new series, by the way. The girl that was the baby in the sun, that was its own weirdness right there, she outed herself recently in an interview. She revealed that she was the baby in the sun. She's like 20 now. She's a student, so I hate to imagine how much innocence she's lost. Yeah, that happy, smiling little baby that was just there for some reason. What was up with the Teletubbies? What was up with those creepy microphone things? The submarine periscopes that rose up slowly to the ground and started giving them orders. Man, maybe there was some sinister hidden message to Teletubbies that none of us noticed. Oh well, probably not. They're making a new series now. Wonder what it'll be like. Will it be a worthy successor to the original series of Teletubbies walking about doing stuff? Who knows? Maybe the CGI will be better. Some of those CGI effects, man. I think they actually banned one of them because it was so scary. Yeah, I think they actually did. I think it involved a bear and a lion or something. While they're at it, why don't they go and ban all those old 80s and 90s cartoons and movies that scared all the kids watching it? Did they deliberately, like, trying to horrify children in these old films? I tell you, does it happen anymore? Do modern children's films just have absolutely, unbelievably scary stuff in them? Brave little toaster. That clown! Good grief, that clown! You don't have to be scared of clowns. That thing is monstrous. Alright, the home stretch. Jessie is taking down that robot. Oh no, it cloned itself! It's a clone of a former foe. I like how he talks like he's got some meaningful grudge against us, even though he was just a generic boss like all the rest of them. You can't even tell what it's supposed to be. Looks like a mummy almost, wrapped in bandages with his arms sticking out. Oh dear. But we beat him. And it's on to one of the last challenges, certainly. We've come a long way, Jessie. Oh, just shut up, Mr. X. Yeah, okay. The final boss!
You've ruined everything! My whole army, my experiments, everything! But I don't need them! I'll conquer this world by myself!
What can an old man in a science wheelchair do? Whoa, quite a lot apparently. This is the final boss, and for once we actually have to be on our A game with these bosses. Because, this is going to shock you viewers, but believe it or not, you can't beat this final boss by just standing there. By just crouching and shooting. As we're going to see soon. Oh, man. So he throws himself at you like every other boss. He shoots some stuff up and down that you can duck and jump over, respectively. And what else? Oh well, we didn't find out there because he got slammed. But it's not over. That's right, he's got a second form. And this is where he means business. He still shoots stuff from the top and the bottom. And it's pretty fast, so it's hard to dodge. Not to mention that the controls are so awful that you take half a second to even get out of your crouch animation to jump. Oh man, we're almost dead. Oh, died before we could use the restorer. But that's probably just as well, because that restorer... well, that restorer can only be used once per level anyway, so it'd be a waste. Because we didn't really know what we were doing there. Don't say it, folks. Don't say it. Don't even think about opening your mouths. Don't jinx this! We've somehow glitched the boss. He's not going to fire at us. Wow, we took down the boss without any damage. Oh man, if it works for this one too... Oh yes, oh sweet! We're going to beat this boss without getting hurt at all! Man, you know, yeah, sure, it's cheap, but you know what? Who on earth cares? Come on! At this point, I couldn't care less whether I'm playing fair. In fact, I feel like having some fun with this guy. What's that you saying? Hubris? Arrogance? Oh, come on. What's that you saying? What's that, audience? Hubris? Arrogance? Oh, get lost. This is awesome. I'm invincible. Stupid boss. What a weakling. I'm going to take you down in a humiliating fashion. Let's see what you can do against... Wait, did that thing move? Oh, no, no! What? The special weapons unglitch the boss? The menu's glitched now. This game is a glitched train wreck all of a sudden at the end. This game has just become a glitched train wreck. It's a glitch fest of glitch proportions. What kind of word is glitch anyway? I've just glitched this thing sky high. Man, I so had it there. Oh man, if only I hadn't been so arrogant, maybe I wouldn't have had a comeuppance. Audience, you could have given me a warning there. Man, if only I'd been a bit more humble in the last instant, I wouldn't have gotten justice served there. Serves me right, huh? Serves Mr. X right. Serves old Mr. X right, trying to beat the final boss in this old pointless game really fast so I could just stop this video. And we could all just move on with our lives. I'm not giving up. Whoa. Oh, rats, I thought I'd won. Oh, I so had that. Oh, for a second there, I thought maybe I could salvage that last hit. I thought I could pull off a death-defying... I thought I could pull off a really cool-looking thing and beat that boss without getting hit. But, of course, Dr. Not Evil just slams himself at us. And he does it again, right? The start this time. Of course he does. What's in the background in all of these boss chambers? Have you noticed that, by the way? What's going on there? There's a circle in the middle of the floor and a grey stone block. Those on the bottom, those boxes, they look like floodlights or something. I dare say, anyway, never mind. Never mind. Dr. Sauceful, I don't know how you got all of your bosses to exist in the same room, but you're going down! You're going down at the hands of Jesse. We've gone through all of the misery and nonsense this game's put us through, and here we are at the final boss. All we got to do is slam this boss, and it's all over. I can do this. Jesse, I believe in you. I don't know who you are, or who the Fire Guardian was. Yeah, remember him? Or whatever. Or any of that stuff. But I know this. You've got what it takes, Jesse. You have got what it takes. You got it. You can beat that boss. Jump over his fist. Duck under his shots. Jump umper those shots. Stand there to avoid the weird rockets that fly from the ceiling, because they disappear if you're too far away from them. Unfortunately, I don't think I mentioned this before because it didn't really come into play, but Jesse's shots don't reach the full length of the room. Like right here, I can shoot that Dr. Bad Guy, but if I was standing at the very far left, they would still miss him. So that's an interesting mechanic there. Really isn't important most of the game, but your shots do have a range. Yeah. If I was to give the writer of this game any credit, which I do, for the record, I'd guess that he did that deliberately, or she, or so on, that deliberately, because in RPG Maker, a sprite on the way far end of the screen is still there, like a sprite that's like a million miles away from you on the same screen, on the same map. It still exists, it's just that you can't see them. So if the shots went all the way to the other side of the screen, we could have shot stuff that was way away from us. We won the final battle! Oh, what? There's another final form? The game's pulling out everything at this final battle. But we can do it. We've come this far. Little stick man can't beat us. Yeah! Yeah! Jesse brings home the bacon! Now we get to sit back and watch the ending. What? Another thing. Oh great, we got 30 seconds to get to the end of the screen and dodge everything. Oh, you just know that if you fail this, you're going to have to do all the boss again. Forget that nonsense, we're doing this in one shot. Come on, Jesse, come on, Jesse. Yeah! I knew we could do it. It's the ending. Wait, the fire guardian doesn't sound happy. Who are you? What's going on here? Black-robed man? What? Well, he must have sensed Jesse returning to the Island of Betrayal that... Wait a minute. Island of Betrayal. Oh, the Fire Guardian's called Jeff, by the way, of course he is. There was no betraying at all in the game until right now. And if the betrayal happened at the end, then that means...
I don't believe it!
To be continued? You just ended on a cliffhanger? That ending was just the Fire Guardian got murdered and nothing good happened. That was a horrible ending. I played this game for this. I finished this game after 12 years for that. A cliffhanger to a sequel that was never even made. By the Game Master. Game Master. Game Master. You're the one responsible for this cliffhanger. Story. Look at that. Right there. Story. Game Master. Game Master, I demand a sequel. I demand a sequel so I can finish off this... so that I can close this story once and for all. Well, at least we got a fancy game over screen. Hello, madam. You weren't in the game. Hello, black line to the right of the madam's head. But now, the quest is over. The Guardian of Earth has fulfilled his duty. It was a long, difficult, cheap, glitch-packed, glitch-fest battle. Until the next threat looms against the world, which has actually already happened, but there wasn't a sequel, so never mind. Jesse can rest easy and take off his stupid bulky armour that made him jump terribly and let him get hit all the time. Guardians of Earth Collection, a very ambitious early to mid 2000s RPG Maker adventure. But a complete RPG Maker 2000 platform game, over 10 long levels, unique boss fights in every level, lots of different mechanics, unique things to certain levels like vanishing blocks, varied enemy design, all the sprite work drawn by the creator. It's very hard to get into. The control scheme really is just not pleasant to work with at all. The control scheme is really off-putting when you start this game, and it is very difficult, particularly from the jumping, also that you can get hit so much. However, if you can get past the very stilted, cheap deaths from jumping, very stilted jumping controls and the cheap deaths from them, all the constant cheap hits you take, if you can get past that, if you can just play for 10 minutes and adjust to it, I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece or even a well-designed game, but it is a game, and I was genuinely having some fun with this. It's actually kind of entertaining, especially if you know RPG Maker well enough to cut it some slack for all this. So, Guardians of Earth Collection was an impressive feat on a game creation system designed to have people walk about a grid and talk to people. Instead, you made a game with that same engine where they walk around left and right, jump, fall into pits, shoot things, get shot, and ultimately have an interesting experience. The optional power-ups were ingeniously hidden in some of the game, and were ingeniously hidden in some places. By ingeniously, I mean cheaply, unfairly, and just a misery to get to. But they were optional. And if you were like me and played the old Mega Man with a letter at the end of his name games, enjoyed the whole thing of finding these hidden power-ups in the levels, then you probably had a pleasant time. Then you might have a pleasant time finding those, or at least some of them. So there you go, Guardians of Earth, aka Guardians of Earth Collection, Island of Betrayal. Rest easy, Jesse. Until the sequel comes. Until the sequel. We're all waiting, Games Master. We're all waiting, Game Master. 9. So well done, Game Master, but finish your series, honestly. You don't leave things unfinished. If there's one thing Team Sponkel disagrees with, it's leaving things unfinished for years.